do it to try to figure out how we can make inroads in communities. So there are some information that we're going to be doing throughout the city. It's called opportunity zones, which is there, but that's just an oversight. So what I've done, I've been to about 100 city council meetings here in Dallas. And in that process, I saw they were giving $20 million to bike trail, after bike trail, but they had $20 million in the budget for people under what social is. So I started challenging them to see what do you need to do to put more into the youth, and they had no solutions. So then they put the curfew. They gave $500,000 for an ID program. That doesn't help the youth. So what I've been doing is made a commitment to rewrite the horseshoe. You may not practice it now, but many of us work, live, or play in Dallas. So that means they have $29 million that they don't know where it's at for housing. So you have a city that's kind of over the top, but nobody ever goes and asks for money for the kids in a large nature, right? So what we've done now, tomorrow we've invited all 62 candidates, mayor and city councils throughout the city of Dallas for an event tomorrow, and it's a mayoral candidate forum called Make Dallas One City. So I'm bringing them there for one reason, so parents and children can show up and basically, in a nice way, demand money for these youth programs. If you're going to touch the kids and really touch them in a positive way, I think that you're going to have to do it through youth organizations that's already established. So what I'm asking them for is money for financial literacy grants, so you can teach financial literacy to our youth, to have money for 2 paid staff from the organization, so that we can have what we call them coach, mentors, and counselors. These individuals can go into the schools and work with the kids on a regular basis, but they also can learn how to be true mentors to deal with some of the situations that take place at home, whether that's food, whether that's sexual abuse, whatever that might be, because they have the relationship. And the last one, when you have, now this is a county issue also, when you have vacant buildings, why wouldn't we allow qualified organizations to take those buildings for $1 a year on a 30-year lease and let them do more for the kids? Now, your organization, I met him Sunday through another organization that I've been working with, said they had a strong organization. I just talked to another organization that has 1,000 youth. So there are about 4 or 5 organizations that I'm going to highlight tomorrow. This is the press release that just went out, and it basically says this: if you are a candidate and do not show up tomorrow, we will have your name on an empty chair. We will ask that empty chair questions. Because this is for 2 reasons. You're here to see what you can do for the youth, and you're here to see how we make Dallas one city. Some people say, what do you mean it is one city? It's not one city. It's always been divided when you go south of the Trinity. And if we don't do something, it only gets worse. And it gets worse, and it gets worse, and it gets worse. So when we start talking about parents, it's normally single mothers. We have been fortunate to get some brothers to get very active and start to step up. Those brothers have got together and put together a proposal for the revitalization of Martin Luther King Street. That render will be released on tomorrow night. So what I'm asking of you all is tomorrow night from 6 to 8, show up at the Texas Horse Park. We're going to talk about several things, which that's in Pleasant Grove if you don't know where it is. In Pleasant Grove, which is called the Trinity Forest, they have a golf course where they're playing the Byron Nelson. You can't go there, but it's city-owned land because it costs $150,000 to be a member. They just built the Autobahn. If you're familiar with Pleasant Grove, where they had the old skating rink and the go-kart place. How many black people go to Autobahn? You go to Autobahn? You ain't black. Now they have a horse park, equestrian. It's a $10 million facility. Really, if you're not really active in that nonprofit, you don't get access. So there's one mayoral candidate running on one issue item. The Trinity Forest is 12,000 acres. So eventually they're going to keep pushing, because many of the people around the community don't even know it exists. So that's where we're going to be at tomorrow. They have a 10,000-seat arena. We're going to be in the activity center. I hope that we have more parents and kids than it can hold. And that's it. And we're going to ask directly, if you're elected, will you put, so we can break it down a little further. There's 14 districts in the city of Dallas. Each one of them get $10 million of non-discretionary funds. They can't put it in their pockets, but they can direct where it goes. So one of the questions that they're going to be asked, you work for the city, one of the things they're going to be asked is this: are you willing, with your district, to contribute $500,000 to these organizations? That's $7 million that can go directly into the movement of your children. Got it? That's it. July 7th, we will our goal is to announce what they really did. Council goes out on vacation. Once they lose or win, they take possession of their seat, and they can do it within the first agenda. That's what we're asking for. We're not trying to make it a long, drawn-out process, and we are looking to make July 7th a official day in Dallas. That's the day the police got shot, and so we're working to do that. I work with the police associations to do that day 1 year after, so they're very excited about it. If you work for the city of Dallas, we're asking to make July 7th an official day where it's a holiday, paid holiday in the city of Dallas. So hopefully by then, if we've gotten to that point, and it just takes pressure. That's it. I've never seen one black person go down there and ask for $10 million over. Just hasn't happened. And that may be the reason why you don't have it. But if you show up, I believe there's a great chance that people will at least commit because they're trying to get elected. And then if they lie, I'll show you how you fire them. It's called recall. So we're going to talk about that also. So the more you become engaged, the more your children become engaged, the more accountability you'll be able to get, the more access you'll be able to get, the more resources you'll be able to get. That's it. I think there are some other things that's happening for single moms as far as housing that will be talked about later, but all that will start coming through the organizations. I believe if the organization has the information, they can get it right to the people. That's 6 o'clock. I ask that you wear your organization wear so you can represent them. And I've talked to coaches about, y'all got babies? Y'all got older kids? No. That they wear their uniforms, so they're real. And so that allows them to see that your organization is connected. And I'm sure that's enough. Questions? What's your question? I thought you had a question.
Somebody ask a question.
Right. Well, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you have a nonprofit 501(c), usually you can go in and get like donations and things like that. Do you help with doing paperwork as far as if I want to go Chevrolet and say, hey, can we get 2 vans donated? You know how you have to be able to write out a business plan or
You're right. Yeah, we can. Well, we have someone that will help you do that. I'm in Dallas for about 60 days, and then I'm gone until November of 2020 on the presidential trail. So I'm just trying to do everything I can before I leave. I'm the guy that makes people mad, knock on doors, call you out, and try to, move the needle. But yes, and a lot of times what you're talking about, I think that the city has enough money to where if the transportation is going to meet certain needs, they have grants, you just don't get access to them. Or they have very low interest loans that will allow you to get where you're trying to go. But the federal money is, depending on what you're doing and who your demographic is, who do you serve? Like your nonprofit, what demographic? For the organization. Okay, so for the organization, transportation is something that, they got buses they don't use now. We were able to get buses from Dallas County for $700. So that's something you can definitely do. But no, that's something that they also, the city also has people that will help you do. So it's just about knowing the resources that's available. Transportation will be one of the modes that we will be asking them to support. So if a coach needs to go to a school during the day, they need to have access to do that, not their own organization vehicles. All right, is that it? We good? So we're good? Any more questions? All right, so tomorrow, 6 o'clock, I think that you will be enlightened, but more importantly, I believe that maybe not these babies, but the older ones, I think that they'll start getting engaged in a whole different process. And I think that's where we got to get if we want to change kind of where we are. All right? Thank you all for your time.